Hi, welcome to the fourth video in the series about the 4 pillars to creating vibrant health. I'm Morella DeVoe, and I hope you've watched the whole series. Today we're talking about pillar number 4, and this is all about cultivating optimal metabolic strength, a really strong, lean machine that burns energy effectively, that manages weight effectively, and also addresses things like high blood sugar and diabetes and high cholesterol. These are things that should not be health issues. And they're more like syndromes. They're not really diseases. They're more like syndromes. If you reverse the things that brought on the symptoms go away. So especially if you're someone who's struggled with your weight, who has blood sugar issues, cholesterol issues, or flat out diabetes, this is something that you really want to pay attention to. And for everybody else, if we all intend to live a long, healthy life into our long senior years, we need to cultivate optimal metabolic strength, and that can change over time. I mean, just think of the fact that you probably can't eat what you used to eat as a teenager. Your metabolism has changed. So you need to pay attention as you progress through life what it is that your body truly needs at every stage. And again, that changes. So let's talk about how to create optimal metabolic function. And the first thing is to stop dieting. Stop dieting, stop counting calories, stop eating low fat, stop following diet dogma, indications of what other people tell you you should be eating. I don't tell you what you should be eating necessarily. What I want you to do is to learn what it is your body needs. So stop counting calories. I like to say, there are no animals in nature counting calories. Why should we be counting calories? Animals all instinctively know what they're supposed to eat, and they eat that. And if we tune into our body's inherent wisdom, our own intuition, we too can start to tune into what our body genuinely needs. And of course, this takes paying attention. So let's get rid of the diets, get rid of what people tell you you need to be eating. And you need to start learning to eat real food again and understanding what it is your body needs. This is where I, in my programs, use metabolic typing as a starting base, a foundation. I use a quiz for metabolic typing, and I help people understand, what does your body uniquely need? What you need to eat is likely going to be different than what I need to eat. And so there are essentially 3 different metabolic types. They're not really clear cut. You tend to have a tendency more towards one or the other. It's not like this, there's a hard rule. Again, you have to pay attention to what your body's saying. So these metabolic types, there's 2 extremes. They're the fast oxidizers. These are the people who do well on high protein, high fat foods because fast oxidizers absorb and metabolize carbohydrates really quickly. So if they eat a diet that is low in fat and low in protein, like a lot of calorie counting diets tend to be low in fat, they tend to be very hungry and they get hungry quickly. So they eat an oatmeal breakfast and they are starving in an hour or in an hour and a half, and then they need a snack, and then they're hungry at lunch, and they're obsessed with food all the time. I'm a fast oxidizer. When I was vegan, really healthy vegan, I could not stop thinking about food. I was constantly thinking about what's the next meal I'm going to eat. That is a classic sign of hypoglycemia or blood sugar that's all over the place. And so it turns out a fast oxidizer like me needs a lot of fat and a lot of protein-rich foods and very low on the carbohydrates. The more of a fast oxidizer, the lower the carbohydrate. Now, if you come all the way on the other end of the spectrum, you have the slow oxidizers. These are the people who, when they eat foods that are high in fat, high in protein, they have a hard time breaking them down because their bodies break down carbohydrates and assimilate carbohydrates and break down foods much more slowly. So they have a harder time breaking down that piece of steak. they do really well on low-fat foods. And this group of people, they're typically the people who do pretty well on a calorie counting diet. Because when we count calories, we tend to gravitate towards low-fat foods because there's fewer calories. So this group of people, they do well on low calorie counting diets, low fat diets. They do great on vegetarian diets. And this group of people, not so much. So I find that a lot of my clients who come to me with blood sugar issues, issues with their weight where they've been stuck for a really long time, a lot of times they've been trying a calorie counting diet, eating low fat. They're hungry all the time. They're frustrated. They don't know why it's not working. And if they lose a little weight, as soon as they get off the diet, they gain it all right back. Now, if you take these diets and you cross them, both groups of people do horribly. If you take these people and you give them a high protein, high fat diet, a lot of times they start feeling achy and heavy and bloated. They might get gout. Whereas these people become hypoglycemic and they develop diabetes. So there's no single diet that's right for everyone. You need to find where on the spectrum you lie, and there's a third group that's kind of in the center, which is what we call the mixed type, and it's people who are kind of medium paced oxidizers. So they can't be in one extreme or the other. They need a little bit of a mix of foods. So it's important to pay attention to your body. This is not rocket science, but it is about methodically and diligently doing things that help you answer those questions for yourself. Are you supposed to be over here and eating eggs and maybe meat? Maybe some of you, like me, I was vegan and I hadn't eaten meat in a really long time, and I started eating again eggs and meat, and my body did really, really well. Or maybe you need to be over here and eat lots of vegetables and fruit, and you might even do well on grains. I don't eat a lot of grains because I don't do well on grains. I eat over here. So the foundation is paying attention to what your body uniquely needs. And when you do that, your hunger stabilizes. You feel very satisfied with your food. Your cravings tend to go away. You don't have these high and lows. You don't feel out of control. You're not obsessed with food. You don't feel like a junkie with food because your body's getting what it needs. And that stability makes it a lot easier to maintain your weight because you're eating the foods that make you feel really, really satisfied. So that's the first step. The next step is exercising for metabolic optimization and also for what some people call pro-youthing. Pro-youthing is the kind of activity and the kind of diet and the kind of lifestyle that helps you stay young, that helps to secrete human growth hormone, because the secretion of human growth hormone is what enables your body to regenerate, to create new cells easily. Kids have lots of human growth hormone, and then as we age, we don't produce as much. But there's a kind of exercise that helps you secrete human growth hormone, and lo and behold, human growth hormone helps you reduce your body fat percentage, so it becomes easier to get leaner. Of course, any kind of activity and movement is good. If you're not doing anything, going for walks is very important. And some people are dealing with joint issues, and so you can't do very vigorous activity. Or if you have heart issues, you need to make sure that you can put yourself into rigorous activity and have a stress test to see if your heart can withstand it. So any kind of movement is going to be good. But if you have tried to lose weight for an extended period of time, you know that a lot of times the walking, the jogging, even your aerobics classes and all of that will eventually get you to a plateau where you lost weight, you did great, and then you couldn't get past that plateau, and it can be really frustrating. So the kind of exercise that I like to recommend people who work with me is high-intensity interval training. And you can look that up. High-intensity interval training is the type of activity that will help you break past any plateau. And it's the kind of activity that will trigger the production of human growth hormone immediately, especially if you're eating the right foods before and after your workout. So these are a couple of different things. The other thing that I help people navigate and discover for themselves is the optimal amount of fasting. One of the issues with our modern lifestyle is that we are, a drawer away from food, a few steps away from our fridge. We don't have the feast and famine cycles that humanity has been living with for millennia. So our bodies are used to storing calories, storing the energy that we don't consume immediately in the form of fat. And if we're eating constantly throughout the day while we're at our desks, we are enabling our body to maintain, to stay in the level, in the state of storage, energy storage, as opposed to helping your body burn the fuel that has been kept in storage, which would happen typically in the famine cycle. So learning to observe your fasting rhythms and extending your fasting window from dinner at night towards breakfast or brunch the next morning helps to create a wide window where your body is slowly learning how to, or remembering how to burn the energy every day that you have stored as fat. So your body needs to remember how to burn fat efficiently. And this is done through eating the right foods for your body type, exercising in the right way, making sure that you're creating fasting windows, that you're not constantly grazing. I do not believe that we are grazers. We are hunters. Our humanity has evolved as a hunter gatherer more than a grazer. And so we need to navigate these wide windows of fasting. So these are some basic ideas for you to start exploring how you get your metabolism working better. The final piece I want to tell you about is what I call your weight identity or your health identity. Because we have a lot of thoughts and feelings about our health, about our body that function subconsciously. And so, a lot of people, especially when it comes to their weight, their blood sugar, they tend to have lots of feelings and a lot of inner resistance towards their body and inner resistance towards, their ability to lose weight. And that internal struggle manifests in an external struggle where you're constantly feeling that you're battling yourself, that you're battling food, that food is the enemy, that your body just doesn't cooperate with you. And it's that internal programming that essentially keeps the story repeating and keeps you essentially feeling stuck in this place of not being able to achieve the optimal metabolic health that you are dreaming of. So you have to learn what's right for you. You have to exercise effectively. You have to remember how to fast, and you have to pay attention to your thoughts and feelings. And all of these things are extraordinarily important to achieve and maintain the ideal health, blood sugar, and heart health that you need. Now, I hope all of these 4 videos have been helpful, interesting, have given you some ideas. Of course, all of this is part of my program that I call the Vibrant Body Journey. And if you're feeling like you could really use some support, and not just from me, but from the community that will be doing this program together, then I encourage you to check out the program. In the Vibrant Body Journey, we work on all of these 4 pillars in sequence because they all build on each other. And so there's a method, and I break it down so that every week we're taking a few small actions, and every week you're building this vibrant body foundation, this lifestyle that is easy for you to maintain and to build upon. And it lasts 6 months, because we're creating significant changes in your lifestyle, in the way you understand your body, in the way you understand food, how you relate to yourself. And the other really important piece that is not just about the food or the exercise, it's the dimension that I bring as a counselor and a hypnotherapist in helping people to create a new identity for health. The new sets of beliefs, of thoughts, of emotions that help you get to the place where you know yourself, where you feel that the healthy, vibrant, lean, youthful, you is coming out with ease, is unfolding with ease, and your choices in food and exercise become so easy to do because they're coming from this version of you that is naturally healthy, vibrant, and alive, as opposed to the version of you that is stuck battling your weight, your cholesterol, your arthritis, the diet that you really don't like, the diet where you're always hungry, and it isn't really bringing you healing. So we all need to build these 4 pillars of health. We all need to detoxify. We all need a strong digestion. We all need to manage our inflammation. And we all need a really healthy metabolism to stay strong and lean and vibrant, youthful and joyful into our very, very old age. So I hope this was helpful. Check out the program, see if it's right for you. And the other fun part about doing a program is that you don't do this alone. You don't have to figure it out alone. You don't have to do any of this alone. You get the support, not just from me, but from the community of people who are cheering you along, helping you when things might be a little bit challenging, and getting ideas, sharing recipes, and celebrating everybody's successes. It's a lot of fun. So I hope you might consider joining me. And if you know anybody who needs a little help in any of these areas, please share this with them. Give them the gift of the opportunity to check out whether this is something that might help them. I hope to see you soon. I hope to hear from you. Drop me a note, send me a question. Would be happy to answer any questions you might have. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.